From the still library comes a tale from the Glabrian Chronicles, a divided Victorian world of magic and gunpowder, politics and war. The Grand Vale Hotel prided itself on emotional neutrality. Its lobby was layered in velvet and polished brass, a cathedral of polite restraint. Every armchair was upholstered in soft burgundy, every table set with lace and porcelain. It was here that the Sentian Symposium on Emotional Control convened. 30 Sentians who could bend the current with feeling, a system known in Glabria as ars sentia, gathered to pretend they had mastered it. It had convened between speakers for an afternoon break. Tea was served. Lady Whitcomb stirred her cup with gloved fingers, letting just a trace of nostalgia slip into the brew. Across the table, Professor Arden's eyes softened. For a moment he smelled pipe tobacco and rain, and heard his father's voice calling him in from the fields. "Ah," he murmured, "that's lovely." Lady Whitcomb smiled sweetly. "Thank you, my dear friend." He nodded his head to her politely. It began like that. Small influences, gentle leaks, a biscuit laced with contentment, a scone soaked in old summer afternoons, a teacup filled with mild, floating joy. The lobby warmed with invisible currents, like a parlor filled with perfume. Then someone slipped. Madame Delaine, whose papers on emotional discipline had just been publicly questioned, added a drop of irritation to her coffee. It slid across the table and settled into Rector Haversham's chest. He stiffened. "Was that necessary?" he snapped. The room quieted. Several mages took careful sips, tasting the sudden tension. A few smiled. Someone, no one ever knew who, infused a plate of lemon cakes with wounded pride. Then a teapot received a spoonful of envy. The symposium collapsed. Old resentments flowed through sugar cubes. Spite dissolved in cream. One woman's tea tasted faintly of betrayal. A man's biscuit carried the bitter ache of a lost lover. Laughter burst out in the wrong places. Tears fell over pastries. People began to target. A cup was nudged toward a rival. A plate slid carefully across a table. One mage, blushing furiously, realized her petit four was steeped in humiliating adolescent longing. "Who did this?" she cried. No one answered. The air filled with overlapping sentia currents, heartbreak, rage, wistful memory, dull, aching regret. The velvet chairs absorbed it all, their fabric humming softly with secondhand sorrow. By the time the hotel staff arrived, half the symposium was sobbing, a quarter was shouting, and the rest sat dreamily staring into their cups, reliving better years. The teacups themselves had begun to crack. In the aftermath, the symposium was quietly canceled. The Grand Vale Hotel replaced all its china, and Glabrian Sentia instructors would, for years afterward, warn their students. Never underestimate a proper cup of tea. Stay with us for further expeditions into Glabria, here in the still library.